D. I think he's going to have to do a little bit more scoring. This could be like a 35-15 kind of night for LeBron. He's going to have to pass the ball a lot, too. Good thing he's playing. Hopefully he's over those flu-like symptoms that sidelined him last game because Lakers going to need him.
I'm going to go under.
Yeah.
I'm going to stick with the feeling I have that he's not going to have to expend himself too much. You can see in the game in Dallas, the flu-like symptoms were kicking in right from the start. Really fatigued, really tired. This is his first game back from that. I don't know if he's going to want to get crazy. I'll go mid-20s, just enough to get the win, probably still get a triple-double.
Let's sit some in the fourth.
Better LeBron era. Cavs or the Heat?
I'd go Cavs because you got that ever-elusive NBA championship for the franchise that never won one. In fact, the whole city was in a giant drought.
11 years there as well.
Yeah, I mean, it hadn't won much of anything except for the NFL championship, which was before the Super Bowl, guys. So I always look at him as a Cleveland Cavalier before I look at him as a Heat guy.
Chris, what do you see? Better LeBron era.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. I would say better LeBron era, like emotionally, is for sure his Cavaliers career.
But the most dominant?
In terms of basketball?
It's Miami.
Miami.
Yeah.
To me, you have to consider the results of the championships. Of course, he had a lot of supporting help, but that era in Miami, it changed the way basketball is played since then. So I would say Miami.
More impressive LeBron play, a chase down block or a big dunk?
You got to go chase down, right, Fish? I mean, we all have memories of the 2016, when he got Iguodala. Big Game 7 up there in Golden State.
Yeah, I think the chase down blocks, they kind of come out of nowhere.
Right.
I feel like the dunks, a lot of times with LeBron, he's so big and strong, you're not surprised when he jams it and power dunks it, but the blocks sometimes surprise me still. Like, I'm really impressed that at this point in his career, he's still chasing guys down for block shots.
It's got the flair. It's the dramatic flair that it comes with.
Yeah.
It's always at a crunch time situation or it's a big play. It's pretty cool. LeBron James has played 14 games against the Cavs in his career. In games he has played, he is 13-1. Does he make it 14-1 tonight? Book it.
You know what the Cavs record, Fish?
Is that rhetorical?
They're not a good basketball team. I have them in my wins pool. That's
I'll
they were the
go out on
30th
a
and
limb
final
and
pick.
say yes.
Yeah.
The Cavs against over 500 teams, guys, 2-18. So I would not be predicting a Cavs win in any way, shape, or form.
Cavs are awful.
They're not.
However,
if they win tonight, I will start off the postgame show with an apology.
First game home after a road trip is always tough.
Yeah.
And guys with flu-like symptoms and fatigue, etc., we'll see.
And the Cavs did win in Denver.
They're going to Lambeau leap right to victory.
Oh, I like that.
Hopefully so. Yates,
You won't have to apologize, Keith. You're fine.
Guys. Coming up on Access Sportsnet Lakers, Kyle Kuzma is coming off a season-high 36 points in Oklahoma City. Ahead, we'll have a one-on-one.
Yeah, I think they should have a date at this point. I don't think there's any doubt that the young man is healthy. I think he's physically ready, and he's chomping at the bit to get out and play in a real game. And, I think also you let him know exactly when that moment's going to come so he can start to prepare mentally. And listen, there's a lot of anticipation building up to this. We all want to see the young man play. But I think ideally it's better sooner than later. I mean, it's not like he has any lingering effect from the injury. I think this guy is fully healthy. I think he's ready to go. And that process needs to begin as soon as possible from his standpoint as well as the team's. Because you've got to now, it's going to change who they are. Brandon Ingram is playing at an all-star level. They're going to have to coexist. And he's proven that he can play with other high-level talents. He did it with R.J. Barrett, who was supposed to be the guy. I think he's going to be really good because he's not a volume player. But I still would like to see for this young team to get him out there. They're still in it in terms of the postseason as well.
Let me just add this real quickly because you make an unbelievable point about Brandon Ingram. He's going to be the most coveted free agent this summer, albeit restricted free agent.
Yeah.
The Pelicans front office want to know that investing in him because they have Zion's a good decision. Brandon Ingram's a great player. You want to pay him. But you want to know these guys can play together before you go make them the centerpiece of your organization.
Well, here's the thing, being a restricted free agent, if it doesn't work, you put him and Zion together and all of a sudden you go, man, Ingram and Zion just do not work. You have a huge trade trade chip in Ingram right around the trading deadline, because I would take a guy with a restricted free agent, because here's the thing. I know that all I have to do is match the best offer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But psychologically, you don't want him to get to that point where he has to go out and get offers.
Right.
Yeah.
But then bringing it back to Zion, forget about the Ingram factor right now for a second. I knew he was ready to play when he jumped in the air and put it between his legs and dunked it. Like that, as a 2 foot, 2 days ago, I looked at that and I went like, I think that kid's ready to play.
Yeah, there you go.
But what I love about him is that he can really pass the ball. He's got good vision, and he's a very willing passer. He's one of those unique young kids that can come out. He can shoot the ball 12 times and control the game. Yeah. Because out of those 12 shots, he's not a volume shooter. He's not going to be shooting 9 threes and maybe 1 3 in there, throw it in there. But at the end of the day, with taking 12 shots, being able to get to the line, he can have 18 points, 13 rebounds, and 9 assists and control the game by taking 12 shots.
You said something earlier about rhythm.
Yep.
And one of the greatest attributes I think that Zion has is he allows rhythm for his teammates with how he plays. Because he doesn't dribble it a lot. He plays well without it. He goes and gets a lot of his own. He's a really good passer. Like, his feel for how to play the game is exceptional. I don't think people appreciate that. We focus a lot on the athletic ability, which is off the charts, but he's got a real good understanding of how to play. He already knows what a bad shot is.
Right.
He plays to his strengths, and you don't often see that with young players. That's why I think he's going to fit in seamlessly, but bigger picture, if you're David Griffin, you want to get a sense for whether or not this is going to work. Can those two guys play well together?
Ingram,
if
Holiday,
they can, man.
Yeah. You got a bunch of guys, you got to see if they can. When you have a bunch of young guys, you got to see if they can all work. The reason young fellas out there, young people that are learning to play the game of basketball, the reason that he plays in rhythm, he plays off the catch. Yeah. He doesn't hold the ball. He catches it and he's going. Ingram's learned how to play off the catch because Ingram's stronger now, and he's playing off the. If you get a bunch of guys that play off the catch, the action is, and if you don't catch it, you pass it. Yeah. So he doesn't hold it. He doesn't sit there and jab step and hold it for 5 seconds. So if you want to help your teammates and want to be able to play well, play off the catch. That means you're downhill immediately when you touch it. That means you shoot it or you pass it. It's the quick decisions he makes with the ball, which I like watching him play. And again, he's got great vision. He's got ability to be able to get in the paint, collapse the paint at any time he can get in there, because he's got that spin move. He's so doggone strong, and he plays low. That's the amazing thing about him. As big as he is, he plays really low. Yeah. When he gets into that spin, he gets into that low body crouch, and he's just hard to guard. So I'm looking forward to seeing him with some of these other nice young players that the Pelicans have. And then David Griffin's going to have to say who fits. Because if you got to make a simple decision, either the guy fits with Zion Williamson or he doesn't. If he doesn't, he's got to go. It doesn't matter what the guy does. He's just got to go, because you got to build your team around this kid.
Well, without Zion, due in large part to winning 7 of 9 games, the Pelicans put themselves right in that mix of basically everybody outside of Golden State is in the mix for the 8th and maybe the 8th and 7th spot in the West. You look at New Orleans entering tonight, just 4 games in the loss column out of 8th place. That's less than 2 weeks of basketball that can be made up. So how do you handle Zion's return, GA, with the potential of making a playoff push, which this organization had their eyes on this year? That was the goal. They weren't trying to be a lottery team. How do you balance bringing Zion back carefully and also still going for that 8th spot?
I think it's a lot easier to accomplish because of the type of player that he is, much to what we just talked about, because you're going to start him on a minutes restriction. Mm-hmm. And then, so with his style, the fact that he's not a ball-dominant guy, the fact that as a superstar, he plays complementary basketball. Like, to Kevin's point, like, he's a really good passer. He doesn't hold it long. He's a quick decision maker. He's decisive in that prospect. And he also helps them defensively. I think that's the aspect of it, that when you look at their team, they have not been a very good defensive team. They've been a little better in this stretch where they're playing well, but, he gives you a terrific defensive and offensive rebounder. He's going to be one of the best in our league in terms of deflections and being able to get block shots. He's going to make momentum plays. And so I think he'll be easy to work back in. The question, to your point, though, is do they have enough? Because I think they could still make the postseason. Ball is playing much better. Ingram's playing like an all-star. Mm-hmm. Drew Holiday is an all-star caliber player as well. They've got a lot of talent. They got a lot of good young pieces as well. So I can't imagine a scenario where they wouldn't have a chance if they stay healthy down the stretch here to maybe make the postseason.
Yeah, with all the technology that teams have right now, they've been able to monitor his heart rate, monitor his conditioning. So they have a good idea. Like I would say, if they rushed him back, they probably would say, let's not play him more than 22, 23 minutes. I think they've given him enough time that he might be on the 26, 27, 28 minutes, which isn't crazy, but still, that's a good run. That's a good NBA run. And if he gets above 25 minutes, that's a lot of players, that's all they play. Their entire career, they only play 25 minutes. And I think they'll start him off at a little bit higher than you may think. I don't think he's going to start off with a 12, 15-minute restriction. You know what I mean? I just don't. That's just my personal belief because they've held him out a long time. So if you're allowing him to play 25, 26, 27 minutes, you're going to get a good test of where his conditioning, where he's at. And within a couple weeks, he might be up to that 30-minute mark, and then you get a chance to